Lecture 9. Competencies of Global Leaders' Systems Thinking. Our introduction. In the 21st century, global leaders operate in an environment defined by complexity, volatility, and deep interdependence. Economic, political, social, and environmental systems are interconnected, meaning that local events can produce global consequences. Traditional linear thinking focused on isolated cause and effect. Relationships is no longer sufficient. Instead, leaders must adopt systems thinking, a holistic approach that recognizes patterns, interconnections, and feedback loops. Systems thinking enables leaders to move beyond reactive decision-making toward proactive and strategic insight. It emphasizes understanding relationships rather than individual components, allowing leaders to anticipate unintended consequences and design sustainable solutions. As global challenges such as climate change, digital transformation, and pandemics become increasingly complex, systems thinking emerges as a fundamental leadership competency. 2. Defining systems thinking. Systems thinking is the ability to understand organizations and global issues as interconnected systems rather than isolated parts. As noted by Peter Senge, it involves recognizing patterns and relationships instead of focusing solely on linear cause-effect chains. This perspective highlights three key principles. Interdependence. Organizations and societies are embedded within broader systems, such as markets, institutions, and ecosystems. Feedback loops. Actions generate consequences that may reinforce or counteract initial outcomes. Long-term thinking. Short-term solutions often create long-term problems. Through this lens, global challenges are not isolated crises, but systemic issues requiring coordinated and multi-level responses. 3. Intercultural competence in leadership. Effective global leadership requires intercultural competence, which includes multiple dimensions. Cultural intelligence, CQ. The ability to understand and adapt to different cultural contexts. Emotional intelligence, EQ. The capacity for empathy, emotional regulation, and relationship building. Language sensitivity. Awareness of communication differences across cultures. Tolerance of ambiguity. The ability to function effectively in uncertain and complex environments. Together, these competencies enable leaders to build trust, foster collaboration, and navigate cultural diversity. 4. Key dimensions of systems thinking competence. Systems thinking involves several core capabilities. Holistic perspective, integrating economic, social, and environmental considerations. Pattern recognition, identifying recurring dynamics and structural causes. Feedback awareness, understanding, reinforcing, and balancing loops. Multi-level governance, recognizing interactions across local, national, and global levels. Adaptive learning, continuously adjusting strategies based on feedback and experience. These dimensions allow leaders to address root causes rather than surface-level symptoms. 5. Applications in practice. Systems thinking is widely applied across sectors. Corporate strategy companies like Unilever and Patagonia integrate sustainability into supply chains, recognizing the link between profitability and system health. Public governance policy frameworks such as the EU Green Deal demonstrate coordinated cross-sectoral approaches. International development organizations like UNDP and the World Bank use systems mapping to address complex development challenges holistically. In each case, systems thinking transforms fragmented actions into integrated strategies. 6. Relationship with other leadership competencies. Systems thinking strengthens other leadership capabilities, enhances strategic vision by revealing long-term consequences, supports adaptability through feedback awareness, reinforces ethical responsibility by highlighting systemic impacts, improves communication by translating complexity into understandable narratives. Thus, it serves as an integrative framework for global leadership. 7. Barriers to systems thinking. Despite its importance, several obstacles hinder its development. Cognitive bias and linear thinking. Organizational silos limiting collaboration. Short-term pressures, discouraging long-term strategies. Information overload, complicating pattern recognition. Overcoming these barriers requires intentional training and cultural change within organizations. 8. Developing systems thinking. Organizations can cultivate systems thinking through systems mapping and scenario planning, design thinking approaches, feedback-based learning cultures, digital tools for modeling complex systems. Educational programs increasingly emphasize Experiential learning to build these capabilities. 9. Ethical and philosophical dimensions. Systems thinking promotes a shift from individual responsibility to systemic stewardship. Leaders recognize that their decisions affect broader social, economic, and environmental systems. This perspective fosters ethical leadership grounded in sustainability, inclusivity, and long-term impact. 10. Conclusion. Systems thinking transforms global leadership into an integrative and forward-looking practice. It enables leaders to navigate complexity, anticipate consequences, and design adaptive strategies. In an interconnected world, effective leadership depends not on managing isolated parts, but on understanding and guiding entire systems. Ultimately, systems thinking provides the foundation for sustainable, ethical, and resilient global leadership.